job, everyone. So, Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. Here we go. We're rocking and rolling. I want to make sure we're recording, we're
Yeah, good
streaming.
review again.
Sorry? Oh, got it. Got it. Okay. All right. So, Melanie Hunt. Melanie and I go back, oh my gosh, more
A
years
long
than
time.
long time. Let's leave it at that, right? Exactly. So, you've been following Mike, Melanie for about how long?
God, I think it's almost 30 years, if it's not 30 years.
Wow, fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Good for you. How did and so you've been in the business that long or longer?
I was in the business a couple of years before I met him.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
And how did you connect up with, Mike Ferry at the time?
I changed from a little independent to Remax.
Okay.
And the day I came, another agent came and she said, "Do you want to go to a party in the desert?" And I said, "Why not?" And so that's how I met Mike. I thought he was absolutely insane. The first time I met him, just, oh, what? You can't do those things in Texas. That would never work.
Exactly.
But it absolutely has.
Good for you. Good for you. So what'd you do before real estate?
I was a teacher.
Ah.
Taught at the University of North Texas.
Okay. Got it. Well, how did you make the transition from that to this? I mean, what was the compelling force?
Well, I had finished my PhD work, and there was one full-time professorship available in the United States, and it was in Bangor, Maine. Well, I'm a Texas girl at heart. I didn't want to live in Bangor, Maine. And so I decided I'd do something else. And my dad said, "Well, you've never had any experience doing anything but teaching. So it's insurance or real estate." And for me, insurance was kind of in the clouds, nebulous. Someday it might be important, and of course it is. But the houses you can touch, people you can touch. It was very real, very substantial to me. And I got a real estate license, and the rest is history.
Fantastic. So did you start off with a bang? Did you start off slow? Give me the Reader's Digest version of Melody's business career.
The year I got my real estate license, oil and gas had crashed. Interest rates were 14% the day I got my license. They were 21% by the end of the year.
Wow.
I was the top selling agent at my office for my first year in real estate. And it was simply because I didn't know it was a bad market. All the experienced agents just quit working, and I took all the floor time calls. I did all of this, and I just had all of this business. Never wrote a new sales contract. They were all assumables or owner financing.
Right.
But I didn't know it was bad,
Good for you. Good for you. So buyer transactions, seller transactions, how did that work for you?
I'm almost all seller transaction. My daughter works with me now, and she takes the buyers. I occasionally will sell if I've got an MFO referral buyer. I take a lot of those. I also sell my sellers if I can't move them to Michelle.
Got it.
But I'm not a buyer's agent. It's not my cup of tea.
Were you ever a buyer's agent?
Oh, I have sold buyers. I've done 50-50 in a year before, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, when I hit 100 deals, I was at the point I didn't have a buyer's agent. I was doing all 100 deals totally myself. And if somebody called in one of my houses, I would show them my house. And then if the house across the street was available and they wanted to see it, I would tell them to call that agent. Really? I didn't have time. They could buy mine, great, that was fine. But I didn't have time to show them.
Good for you. And you did that. So when did you break 100 deals the first time?
I think maybe 1992.
Okay. And at that time, you'd been in the business how long?
About 12 years.
Okay.
10 years, something like that.
What was the progression in terms of the business you were doing from then?
Okay. Well, the highest I've gotten to is 200. Okay. I had 2 buyer's agents at the time. Mm-hmm. Then I stopped being a full-time realtor and was coaching full-time for Mike. I think I had 45 one-on-ones.
Wow.
That was Premier, what we called Premier then. Anyway, and I coached for 11 years, so my production dropped back down. My goal this year is 126.
So wait a second, Melanie. You have it. Your first part of your career in the business,
Uh-huh.
You got up to a couple hundred deals,
Uh-huh.
and you were selling houses, and you were doing well, and make a couple hundred deals in Texas is how much money? More or
Well,
less.
back then, I was probably making about 500.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And you were so doing deals, and then you stopped cold and
No,
started coaching
I
for Mike.
just people who called in. I would take the listing, past clients, things like that.
So that
But
dropped back to about how much business?
I think I got down to about 49.
So you were doing 49 deals without hustling business.
Yeah.
God
Mm-hmm.
bless you.
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, so you you were coaching for Mike for how long?
11 years. I was in that first little group. It was you and Matt, Kim, and I.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, I remember. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you had stopped, but then when did you go back?
I'm not coaching for him.
No, I understand. When did you
Oh.
go back full time to
Well,
selling?
after I stopped coaching, and that was about, I guess, 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. And how, so tell me how you started back up there. There's a story here.
Yeah, I just I sat down and I made a plan, and I had a real issue in my life in having some very ill people that I was responsible for. So I sat down and made a plan with Gay Lee, and it was, I'm going to do this. These are the steps to get that handled. And this is the steps to get me back into my business. And we followed the two plans simultaneously. And the more I got the one under control, the more my business went up because I got time back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what did that plan look like? I mean, at the time you were doing 40, 50 deals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to get back up to 100, where I guess
Uh-huh.
100, 120 deals right now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we're having trouble getting 20 deals.
What is y'all's average sales price though?
We probably make $14,000 gross on every transaction.
Okay. Well, see, my average commission last year was 8,200.
Okay.
So,
all right, so we're
we have to do a
40%.
lot of deals to
Yeah.
make good. Well, here 400,000 is good money too. I don't consider it good money, but in our society or area, 400,000, keeps the debtors away.
Well, the truth is, in most areas in America, except maybe for New York City and San Francisco, $400,000 is a decent amount of money.
Yes.
In Texas, that would be more than a decent amount of money to earn. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, where's your business come from today?
I do a lot of past clients and sphere of influence. I call for sell by owners all the time. I'm really not crazy about expireds, and I know that's a mindset issue I have. Okay, I need to work on it. But I like for sell by owners. They're fun. And when they decide to list, I mean, it can be 10 o'clock at night and they call you and said, I am done. Just list this house, And so they're a lot of fun. And they're usually really energetic, funny people. I like them. Okay.
That's great. Very, very cool. So, so the past client sphere. So when you were out of the business for 12 years, or out of the quote unquote day to day, I mean, how many people were you coaching for Mike?
45.
Well, so it's almost full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you didn't. When you restarted the business 6 years ago, and you say that your business is coming from past client sphere, did you keep that past client sphere kind of going, and that's where that business came from?
Yeah, I had them in auto set up in mailings and an automatic CMA that goes to them every month. Those kinds of. I put everybody. If I have your email address, you're getting a CMA on your house every month. It just goes out. It's all, I don't care who you are. The FISBOs that put their email address in, the expireds, they're getting it automatically set up, and they get it all the time. And I have people that were in there, that I never even met with, who call and say, okay, I've been getting your stuff for 4 years, come list my house.
Got it.
I don't touch that. That's not something that I'm creating every day. I've created the back system to handle them to make it happen, but I'm not touching them every day because, golly, my my sphere of influence is so big in my past clients.
How many people, more or less?
3,500. I can't talk to them every month.
Right, right, right.
And so it's really important they're getting all of that.
So those 3,500 people got put into your system one person at a time, one for sale by owner at a time, one open house person at a time, one past client at a time, maybe a door knock or something like that. But one person at a time went into your system, and then you followed up on that system. You touched those people through emails, through phone calls, through snail mail. Am I correct?
Through snail mails and through like holiday cards and everything. If we can find them on Facebook, we've got them in a Facebook group. If we're not sure, because some of them I've never met, so I don't know if that's them or not.
Sure.
Anyway, so we send out blogs, those kinds of things.
Okay, got it. And that at the lowest, at the peak, got you 200 deals. At the lowest, with only working that system, you were in the 40 to 50 range. And then now that you ramped back up, you're back in the 100 plus transaction range.
Yes.
Maybe we should learn something here. I think I should write this down. Maybe we should work on our past client and sphere base consistently over time. What do you think? Should I make a note of that?
I have a goal of putting 5 people in there every day.
Wow. 5
Think about
people?
Yeah, 5 new people. And it can be, how the for sale by owners and expireds now put their email addresses. They go in there. I don't care that I haven't met them and I haven't sold them the house. And they have the right to unsubscribe. And I do get unsubscribes, but I get a lot who don't.
So is most of this email and texting today, or how much of it's snail mail and calling?
We send everybody in there at least 2 handwritten notes a year.
Okay.
I have a gentleman who's just got the most beautiful handwriting. Mine is not so good. Anyway, and he just sits at home at night and he writes notes to people.
Wow.
And when I take a new listing, he writes them a note. Thank you so much for your business. We really, truly appreciate this opportunity to work with you. When they get a contract on their house, he sends another note. Congratulations. The card says big, balloons and fireworks and stuff. Congratulations. And asking for referrals in these cards too. But you want to hit them when they're excited. Because, right at the very end, the stress level gets so high. So asking them at the closing table for a referral, they're like this usually. So you want to just sit back and ask them when they're excited and when they're calmer.
Good. Great ideas. Great. Simple ideas. So you built the database, and then you work the database and you continue to feed the database because some of those people are dropping out or they're doing deals with somebody else. Fantastic. Very, very good.
Yeah, if I have an email address, they are in that program.
Okay, cool. So COVID-19, March came up, all right? Okay, so how did it affect Melanie?
Well, March, we were really running hard. And I think we had 15 closings in April, but those were created end of February, 1st of March. Sure. May slipped down to about 10. June was really slower. I don't know if it was me slower or that I believed everybody was slower, so I wasn't pushing as hard. It's a combination of all this. It's all mindset.
Sure.
Everything. Just like my first year in business, I didn't know it was a bad market.
Right.
And all the other agents stopped working. And that's what's happening right now. People are not working.
Tell me more about that. What's going on like that? What do you see in your marketplace?
They have just, all the agents are just gone to ground. Most of them aren't even here. If I talk to one, if they happen to have a listing and we're working, they're at their mom and dad's house in the country, or they're at a lake house. They're not even here working. It's absolutely amazing. I have agents call every day. Is there anybody on your team that could show my buyer your house?
Because if the agents aren't working.
Because they're just not working.
Got it. It's a great opportunity for people.
Oh, yeah. And for a new agent who doesn't have any preconceived ideas of what it's like, they just have no competition out there. They're never going to have less competition for the business than they do today.
Great thought. That's a quote I want to use.
Yeah,
Nobody can have, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say it's the truth.
Good. So you think you got caught up in the April, May, which brought you to June, and your business mentally, you think you're a
Yes.
little bit off for that.
Yeah.
So what does Melanie do to crank herself up on the days that, I mean, you've been doing this how many years?
30.
30 years. On the days that you don't want to do, or you don't feel like doing what you're supposed to do, how do you get yourself to do that?
Well, it'll depend. It depends on why I don't feel like it, because every once in a while you just don't feel good, But
Okay.
I believe it's mental. It is absolutely our mindset. And if our goals mean something to us, if there's something that we can do positive, some client or for a family member or a friend, if we get up and we will do that positive thing, it will start our mind moving in a different direction. We got to get up. We wake up and we say, I'm alive, excited, and full of energy. Your feet hit the floor. Who can I help today? What can I do?
Okay. But, I mean, it still might not feel like doing that. So how is that? How do you read any books? You listen to affirmations, any podcasts?
I have lots of affirmations. I watch Mike TV. I've listened to Mike so much. Hearing his voice triggers my mind to move in a different direction.
Interesting.
It is positively.
Give me an example of that.
Well, if I've got it and I'm kind of slow in the morning, if I will put Mike playing on my computer while I'm kind of sorting papers or I'm reading my emails or something, the more he talks, the more energetic I get.
Got it.
Because I just know. The first time, like I said, the first time I heard him, I thought he was crazy. I thought you couldn't do those things. And once I began to do little things, I thought, well, if I just did one little thing, let's just see if that works. Okay. And it did. So I have nothing but positive response to his voice. When I did the scripts for the first time, y'all all enjoy this, using them all the time, I know. But I wasn't going to use them in my little town of Keller where everybody knew me. I called in another town and got listing appointments. And I didn't want listing appointments in that town. So I experimented a little, and I had to convince myself it worked. But once he has never told me to do anything that hurt my business, ever.
That's true. That's true. That's pretty amazing. Good stuff. Okay, so COVID slowed you down maybe a little bit. You got back on the saddle, did what needed to be done. So we have a guest. We have a cat guest.
Oh, I didn't realize she was in here. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's perfect. Okay, so we're post-COVID. All right. So we're on the other side. What are you going to do different, if anything, right now going into the last few months of this year?
Well, one of the things that's on my list to do the first of the week is I'm going to call every closing I've had this year. We're at, I don't know, 55 or something. I've got 13 closing this month. So we're getting up there. I'm going to call every one of them and ask them for a referral. Just talk to them and say, I know that, April was kind of crazy market and crazy month, but everything went successfully. What can I do for a friend of yours?
Okay, great thought.
And I assume I probably would. I bet out of all those people, I can pull 10 appointments.
Wow. Very, very good. Very cool. When we were getting on the call earlier, you had told me that you just finished prospecting this morning, and that you had taken your 13th or 15th listing so far this month.
I took my 13th listing and by DocuSign. And I set an appointment. So I've got like 3 appointments left. So I should hit 15 this month.
Well, we still have another week and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. 15, even if I take the weekend off, I'll be there.
I'm thinking 20. Come on.
Okay. Dinner at the next retreat.
Yeah.
If I don't take 20, I'll buy you dinner.
All right. And if you take 20, I'll buy you dinner. In fact, I'll send you money now.
Okay.
my money's on you, young lady. Good
Thank you.
job. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So that's what you're going to do over the next week or two. What's the plan for the balance of the year for you? How are we going to get you to, so you'll do 120, 130 this year?
Yeah, 126 the goal. Mhm.
Okay. So that's interesting question. So clearly you made good money for your area and have over time for a
Mhm.
long time,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
I would suspect that you don't need to stress over money at
No.
this point in your career.
And
Okay.
that's such an advantage to my clients because when I'm talking with them, their needs and wants become the most important thing. I don't have, it's not that it's okay. I don't have to make this deal go, so I have my house payment or my car payment. So
Right.
what's important is them. I negotiate differently for them. I'm a stronger agent for them because of the position I'm in.
Wow. That is great. Do you communicate that to them, or can you communicate that to them? Can they hear that? Or do
Yes,
they
they
or do they
do.
sense it?
They do hear that.
Mhm.
And especially people that are in a little bit of a stressful situation, they like to hear that security, that confidence,
Okay.
the professional manner in which they're going to be treated.
It's a great thought. Absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, so here we go. We're cruising toward the end of the year. Your goal is, oh, this is where I wanted to go with this. So so we're told all the time that it's goals, it's achieving, it's so for you, I mean, what you don't need much more. What do you what gets your juices going? Is it trips? Is it cars? Is it planes? Is it a new piece of jewelry? What?
Now, I do like jewelry. I will
Okay.
say
Okay.
that. Yes. I think what gets me going is what I can do for people.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I've had clients that were in real trouble and I brought their house current so we could get it sold. There are
Wow.
things I can do that makes a difference in their life forever.
Wow.
And I like to do that.
Wow. That's keeping a customer for life.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's
And
fantastic.
one thing I've been thinking about, and I've got a friend that actually has done it 5 times now, is that you know how hard it is to buy the entry level house right now. Maybe not in your area, but an entry level house here will have 15 offers on it.
Right.
Okay. She's actually buying the house, and then she closes. Then they go and get a loan. They got it, even though they had to get a loan. She just goes in as a cash buyer and buys it and closes. She's not flipping it to them. She buys and
Right.
closes.
Right.
Then
Uh-huh.
they get a mortgage. They go through the normal process and buy it from her.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
That's great. Well,
Yeah,
that's a great
it's to help
service.
them win on that end because
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
the competition here is just incredibly hard.
Yeah. We're running into similar kinds of stuff here, but that does level the playing field.
It
That's a
does.
great service. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You would get a lot of buyers that want to do business with you.
Yeah, they're going to
If
send you a lot of referrals.
A lot of referrals. That's a great thought. Good for you. Good job. So, are you open for some questions?
Sure.
Okay,
Fine.
perfect. All right. So I'm going to move over here because I can see this screen. Okay, so questions for Melanie Hunt. Go ahead, Josie.
Hi, Melanie.
Hi, how are you, Josie?
Good. I don't know if you remember, we had lunch a few times in
Yes.
Washington,
It was San Diego, wasn't it?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, in DC. Okay.
Yeah. So you said that you send out a CMA once a month. That has to be a generic CMA for the city?
No, it's for their house. It's a you put their address in there and you can pull a half a mile around their house, a mile, 5 miles. Some of our rural properties, I have to put 5 miles in to get any houses even in their area.
Is that called Market Snapshot, Melanie?
And no, this is a different one. It was written specifically for us.
Ah, okay, got it.
Okay.
Very
And
cool.
it's just, but I know there's some others out on the market and it's just high quality color and it shows them what's new on the market, what's pending and what is closed.
Great.
A great idea.
With the
Absolutely.
it pulls all the data from the MLS, so it's got all the photos. It's really good.
Wow, very cool.
Because they
Excellent.
don't want a recipe card. They
No.
want to know what their house is worth. And
No,
you can
you're
go
right.
into the program and see who has clicked it 2 or 3 times.
Very
Is
cool.
that,
So if you're calling, you go in and call the ones that are clicking.
are you emailing it?
It emails, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Good job. Good question, Josie. Thank you. Other questions for Melanie? Other questions for Melanie?
Hi, Melanie.
Karen,
Hi.
go ahead.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. What type of social media do you do? Do you do anything, or your team with Instagram or anything else?
Okay. We post on LinkedIn. I think that's really an important site. We do postings on Facebook. I think they do some things on Instagram. I don't do Instagram. I'll go in LinkedIn every once in a while, talk to my business friends, and I will post on Facebook. But my assistant puts all our new listings up and posts 2 blogs a week, that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Good. Other questions for Melanie?
I tell you, the first thing I did that helped my business move forward was I got my first assistant.
Ah,
Because
okay.
so much went off of my plate.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I had to get her off of me. Anyway, so much went off of my plate and onto hers that I could then be more into my clients, more with my clients, with our lead follow-up. I tell you, you make a fortune off lead follow-up. It is the way to go. You have to do it every day and have a system and a program. It's incredible. Lead follow-up and the pre-qual script will absolutely win the day for you.
So we should write that down, Robert, and put that in the chat box. Lead follow-up and follow-up. Lead follow-up and the pre-qual script. I like that.
Because by the time you've done it right,
next week.
I'm sorry.
By the time you've done it correctly, you walk in and they're ready to sign.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's
you're
no
right.
40 objections and there's no hour presentation. It's just, I open my book up. I've got the CMA. I've got the listing form with a pin on it on the table,
Oh,
facing
wow.
them. Okay.
That's great.
And so many of them just reach over and go, okay, you think we ought to go at, $450? And I'd say, yeah, that's what we discussed. I think that's the price. And they'll fill in the price. I leave that blank and they fill that in and then sign. I tell you, if you do that, those initial steps correctly, the listing appointment's almost anticlimactic.
So walk us through the listing steps. Remind us, okay? Melody steps.
Okay. Well, once I've got a lead, to be a lead, I'm going to pre-qualify them very hard. I'll pre-qualify them 2 or 3 times during the process if we're not moving fast enough, because there's something about their motivation I don't know. If I think they're a lead, but they're not acting.
Okay.
So I've got to discover that motivation. I've got one question I ask them a lot in lead follow-up, and that is, if I may just ask one question, how critical is the sale of this house to your family's future? Okay, and that brings out a lot of information. Sometimes you get them and they burst into tears and you go, okay. And other times, they just, well, it's not important. If we can move, we can move. If we don't, we don't. You're gleaning every question on every script is so that you can glean information that allows you to ask the next correct question.
So it sounds like 2 things. A, you ask all the questions in the pre-qualifying.
Yes.
And B, you're not worried about the next question. You're listening to the answers of this question.
Mm-hmm. Because you've got to know the answers to know. If you haven't done that pre-qual, how do you do a listing presentation to go out and present to them? You don't know the answers.
Right. Yeah, it's a great thought.
And if one of them is in bankruptcy, one of them's in foreclosure, and one just wants to move to the lake, those are different presentations.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to have the answers before you can do it.
It's good. Great advice. Absolutely. Good. Other questions for Melanie?
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. My question, very short.
just about the market snapshot that you sent, Melanie. If I want to subscribe to a system that can do the same for my sellers, for my basically database, what do you suggest?
You know, I have a difficult time suggesting because I don't use anything but that one. I understand that maybe top producers got one. Some other programs have them. I just don't know. Okay, because
Okay.
mine is proprietary.
Okay. All right.
Got it.
Thank you so much.
Got it.
Sure.
Robert put in the notes here, Amir, that RPR, we have in the MLS has a free service for that. So that's something you might want to look at also. Robert, is that not correct with that? Got
Okay.
it.
I'll
And there
speak with
is a
Robert.
system that piggybacks on a couple of on CRMs called Market Snapshot.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I'm not promoting it or not promoting it. I've received some market snapshots on some of my properties before, and I find them quite informational and quite good, but I don't know how accurate they are. Good information, Melanie. Excellent. Let's see, Patty, you had a question.
Yeah, I wanted to know if you could talk about your follow-up system and do you do the index cards, or how do you set them up so you're staying in touch?
My index cards right there. I do that. I also have a board on the wall, and the people to go on that board, they have to qualify, and they only get 2 weeks on that board, and then they're gone. I'm not messing with them anymore. But leave. Well, it's true. If they're going to do something next April, who knows what the world's going to be next April? I'm not worried about April. Okay, I stick them in the MAR program and just move on. Okay, that's what my program's called. Anyway, but the calling them and getting assignments from them when you have them on the phone. Do like if they say, well, we're going to have the house painted, ask them if they have a painter. Would you like a couple of painter names? Then get bids. If they need to replace the carpet, give them the people to get bids. Then you call your person and you say, Bill, call this person, give them a bid, call me when you have done it. As soon as he leaves there or has given them the bid, he tells me, I call them and said, are you comfortable with that bid? Is there something else I can do to help you? Would you like a second bid? Once I've talked to a person, I am their agent until they fire me.
Interesting. Great thought.
They're not just a lead. They are my client until they're not.
Wow.
And sometimes I don't get them. It's okay.
Yeah, but you get most of them. You go, girl. Iris, you had a question.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Melanie. I have two questions. Melanie, would you demonstrate a follow-up to us? And my second question is on your automated database, and would you explain one more time?
Okay. Let me start with the database. With the database, it is set up that they get 5 holiday cards a year in an email. They get 2 personal notes a year, maybe more. If something pops into my head, I would do it. They get once a month a complete CMA on their house that shows new listings, pending listings, and sold listings directly associated with their address. And that's all automated. I don't touch any of that. I don't even put them in there the first time. Okay. Right. And then on the follow-up, once I have gotten a hold of them or I have met with them, I am seeking ideas of how I can help them. What do they need? Do they, I had a lead call me, I guess it was Monday, and she said, oh no, I've got a water leak. I know I haven't hired you yet, but do you know any plumbers? And I said, absolutely. I'll call my plumber. He'll be there today. I said, turn the water off at the street. We're going to handle it. Once they start calling you, they're yours. Okay.
Great thought.
Always go to work for them. They don't care that you're number one in your office. They don't care. I mean, they want you to be professional, but they don't care all those things we tell them all the time. They care about what their urgent needs and desires are today. And we just have to focus on that. It's all about them. That's why they don't want a recipe card and they want to know what the house next door sold for. because it's about them.
Good.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Good stuff. All right. Other questions for Melanie? This is great. Great stuff. Anyone else here? All right.
Can I say one thing, Neil?
Please.
I noticed when I was sitting here watching people call, guys, put a smile on your face. If you'll just put a big smile on your face, your whole body relaxes. It relaxes your vocal cords. They will hear the relaxation in your voice. You won't sound stressed. You won't sound fearful, but just put that smile. That's one thing. Mike, remember when he had us, post those stick-on mirrors right in front of our face?
Big smile.
And
Yeah.
I was on a non-MFO call this week with some people, and every one of them was sitting there frowning. And I thought, I was sitting there and I thought, I learned that from Mike. I learned to sit there with a smile on my face.
That was
And
a
it
great
changes your voice.
Absolutely. Great thought, Melanie. Really great thought. With that, what other one or two items do you think of that we haven't asked you or talked about that maybe we need to hear going into the last few months of this year?
I think we have to be dedicated to our goals and our mission statement. I don't know if you have a mission statement, but my mission statement is I'm real, I'm caring, and I'm straightforward. Okay, that's my mission statement. That's how I want my clients to see that I care for them, but I'm going to tell them the truth. Okay? I'm real. And I think that being dedicated to your mission statement, dedicated to your clients and your goal. If you take care, Mike told me this, I think the first time I ever saw him, he said, if you take care of the deals, the dollars take care of themselves.
That's very true. That's great.
Just
Great
take
thought.
care of that deal, take care of that client, meet their needs.
Good. Excellent. It's a great cat. What's the cat's name?
Baby.
Of course.
She was a little feral cat that was just like 6 weeks old or something when we got her. A pit bull killed the rest of her family. And we handheld her and we just called her baby and sweetheart, and it just stuck.
Oh, that's great.
Now she's spoiled
Fantastic.
rotten.
Yeah, that's.
So
This has been
Neil, I
great.
had a question come through the chat box. Melanie, what would you say to someone who feels like they're working a lot, but the deals aren't coming? How do you keep going? How do you stay on track?
Okay, you make committed calls. In the morning, the first 5 people I call are past clients that I have a good relationship with. And it then sets my attitude and pace for the day on the other calls because I've had 5 good experiences. I think that they need to practice smiling while they're talking to the people. They need to practice giving to them. You know, if you're talking to an expired and you said, everybody, the feedback was horrible, all the agents were terrible on the feedback, you know, find out what and see if you can help them fix it. Okay, because they don't know. You know, I had a house close a couple of months ago, been on the market 6 months with another agent. I went in, we just made some simple changes. I mean, they didn't even cost them more than $100. And we made some changes. They sold in 2 weeks at the same price. Okay.
Interesting.
So you've got to help them. That's why they have an agent. If they didn't need help, they wouldn't have you.
Great thought.
And you know what too? I have a friend that's a doctor, and he says the most important thing that happens at an appointment is the doorknob question. He said that when he's with a patient, they talk and they talk, but they don't tell you everything. He said when you are at the door, turning the doorknob to leave is when they ask the important question. Okay, so what you have to do is figure a way to get to that doorknob question quicker.
Great thought. Really, really great stuff here. Everybody unmute yourselves, please. Unmute yourselves. All right, let's give Melanie a big hand.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Melanie, this has been great. You're
thank
terrific.
you. Well, appreciate you having me, Neil.
Well, it's really been terrific. I just wanted to thank you very, very much. One of the things that we tend to do right now is we'll go into take a few minutes and review what we learned from you, what we think you heard, what we heard and think you said to us. Okay, so we go through that. So you're welcome to stay around and kind of listen to it. It's kind of
I
interesting.
think I will.
Okay,
Thank you.
that would be fantastic. Again, Melanie, great job. All right, so what did we learn from Melanie today? What did we learn from Melanie today? Go ahead, Robert.
First of all, Melanie, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate. I know you're busy to take time out of your day and come here and share with us. Awesome. Your energy is incredible. So really appreciate that. But the number one thing I took for it, because man, is this relevant today or what? I was the number one agent in the office because I didn't know it was a bad market. I mean, is that just relevant to today's world or what? That is just a home run right there.
Very, very cool. Absolutely. Good job. All right. What else did we learn this morning? What did we learn from Melanie today?
I have one, Neil.
Go ahead, Iris.
Melanie say, make a fortune, lead follow up with the pre-qualify and with the system. Pre-qualify very hard and ask how critical is it to you selling this, to you and your family selling this home.
Yeah, that's great. 2 or 3 really good ideas, powerful ideas. Thank you, Melanie. Good point, Iris. Okay, what else did we learn this morning? What else? Karen?
I love the personal touches with the holiday cards and the personal notes.
Yeah, great idea. Absolutely. You got somebody in the family that has great handwriting besides you? No. Okay, we'll have to hire one.
Her kids are technically savvy enough. They can make it look like it's her handwriting.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
We're working on it.
All right, good. What else did we learn today? What else did we learn? Kathy Ashford?
Yes. I like that we're, to follow up. I think that that's really critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Great thought. Josie, you had something?
I love the sending the CMA once a month. I don't know, but we'll work it out.
Yeah, figure out how to do that. Absolutely. I think that's a great idea too. You bet. All right, what else did we learn today from Melanie?
Long-term consistency and also really helping people and being there all the time helping people makes them call you and you're real to them. So they reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, because I get that question from you guys all the time, what did I learn? But the reminder is Melanie's not worried about the next deal. She wants the next deal. She wants the money. Everybody does. But her focus is on the client, and everyone she meets becomes her client until they fire her. She makes them her client from moment one. You know what the attitude shift on that can be? It's phenomenal. Melanie, I think, if you have a superpower, I ask this question all the time, what's your superpower? I think that has to be your superpower. Maybe other agents do that, but you articulate it. So really fantastic. Good stuff. All right. Anyone else have anything else they learned today?
I do.
Go ahead, Tess.
You would ask for a referral while you're in the deal. It's critical.
Yeah. It's a really good point. It's a very good point. All right, everyone, unmute yourselves. Let's give her a big, giant hand. Thank you, Melanie Hunt.
Thank you.
All right, Melanie, we're going to post your name and phone number and address over here in the group chat. If anybody has referrals, you'd probably like one from them, right? Got it.
Yes,
Okay.
I love them. I've closed 8 MFO referrals this year already.
Wow. Fantastic. The great source of business.
Yes.
Absolutely. Melanie, thank you again very, very much. Okay. Good work.
Bye-bye,
Good
guys.
work. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melanie.
Okay, so let me turn that off there.